Hey my lovers, as you can see by today's title, we're doing freshman advice college edition. To give you all a background about myself, I attend the illustrious Kiersten University, where I'm a graduating senior majoring in mass media arts with a concentration in radio and TV film. Today is currently February 5th and I graduated May 18th. It's been a long 3 years, like I promise you it has, but I really do feel like it's worth it. I am making this video to kind of give advice like that people normally don't hear when they're going to college. Also, I am a first generation college student, so when I started college I really didn't know much about college, didn't know who to ask, where to go, things and such like that. So if you're like me, then you need to be watching this video. You understand? But even if you aren't like me and you have parents that went to college, they probably went to college long ago. I'm a recent college grad, so this is more like newer information, newer times, if that makes sense. Not calling your folks old, but you know, every cycle of college changes. It's different every year, every 2-3 years. Like nothing is ever the same. So with that being said, we're gonna get started. Okay, so the first advice I would give is to do your research on colleges that you want to attend. So a little bit about myself. I am a mass media arts major, as I said in the beginning, but before being a mass media arts major, I was a computer science major. I used to attend Georgia Southern University in Statesboro, Georgia, but like it was more of the environment for me. I wasn't really feeling the environment and I kept coming back home, which is a 3-hour drive, so it was no point of me just keep going back and forth, wasting that gas, wasting that time, just tiring myself out like that. So I just came back home. But when I came back home, I wanted to go to a HBCU, or I really just wanted to go to a college in Atlanta. But I didn't want to go to Georgia State because Georgia State is like right in the city. It don't even feel like a college. I didn't want to go to an all-girls school, so the only choice that I really had left was Kiersten. When going to college, I really did not do research because when I was in like 11th grade, 12th grade, I didn't even think I was going to go to college. I didn't know anything about college. I didn't know how to fill out no college application. I didn't know how to do any of that. But I would say for people who are juniors and seniors in high school, ask your counselors and your advisor about like FAFSA, how to get waivers, because there's many ways where you can get around like paying waiver fees, because some college applications be like $50-$60, and who's paying that? Oh, okay. But yeah, do your research on colleges, and I say that due to the fact that like the environment, on top of that, the majors that the school provides. For example, Georgia Southern, like if you want to be a nurse, Georgia Southern has a really great nursing program. For Kiersten, if you want to go into like film, arts, theater, things and such like that, that's the school you need to go to. And not a lot of schools, yeah, they have the major, but it may not be like a good department or a good program, or you won't benefit as much because the school does not mainly focus on that. So for me, when I transferred to Kiersten, I was still a computer science major, but like that first semester I struggled so bad. The teachers weren't helping. I don't know, it's like my brain just stopped understanding. It just got a lot harder, and maybe because it was a HBCU, so going from an HBCU to a PWI is completely different. The lifestyle, the teaching, the professors, just the whole nine is a lot different. So maybe that's what it been. But Kiersten is known for those little majors like film and stuff like that, while Georgia Southern is more known for like business, IT, nursing and stuff like that. So there you have to learn the schools and do your research and know exactly what you want to do. Now if you don't know what you want to do, it is okay to still go to a college and be undecided. But again, taking account of like what are their strong majors, like what do they really like put their heart into when it comes down to the school, if that makes sense. Your first 2 years of college, it will be just like basic classes like basic history, like world history, American government, US history, basic English 101, English 102, your sciences, your psychology, your little PE, just those little basic courses. So your first 2 years you won't like really be doing anything that's in your major. You won't start doing stuff into your major until you get to like your junior and your senior year, unless you did dual enrollment like me. So when I started college, I already went in as a sophomore, but I did a semester off, really almost like a year off, because I had went to the army. So technically me going to the army didn't throw off my track of college, so I'm graduating in 3 years, if that makes sense. Another advice is be cautious of like what you do on campus, who you're around, what you say. You never know who's listening, you never know who's watching, you never know if you need like somebody on that campus to like help you out with homework, a professor to write you a letter of recommendation. Like, people are watching, people are listening, and people do talk, so just be cautious. Me personally, like, I go to school in like sweats and a hoodie because like I want to be comfortable, but then again, like, sometimes you do have to dress well. Like, you know, at HBCUs we do have well dressed Wednesdays where we put on like our best business attire, just, you know, just to get into that mood of like, when you get ready to go to work, these are the type of clothes that you have to wear, such like that. So yeah, really do be cautious. Like, some people go to college to have fun, don't get me wrong, you can have fun in college, but be classy, if that makes sense. Like, don't just be ratchet, twerking, and letting the cues throw you in the air. Like, these things people will remember, and they'll be on your like college record, if that makes sense. Not your actual college record, but like when people see you, that's what they're gonna remember you by. Another thing is make connections with your professors. Like, ask questions in class, be attentive, go to like office hours, ask them if they have any like internships, if they know about any events coming up for potential growth for your major. Also, these teachers will probably come in touch with you if you need letter of recommendations, especially for a job or an intern or another organization, things such like that. So make sure you keep those connections. Don't just do it because you might need them, but do it just because you genuinely like want to make the connection, get a better understanding, especially because most of the teachers that are teaching you, especially in your major, they have the same degree as you, or they're in the same field as you to a certain extent, if that makes sense. So most definitely, like, don't be one of those shy students. I can't say when I first started college at Georgia Southern, like, I wasn't one of those reach out, but I can say that my HBCU did change me a lot to where like I speak out more, I make more connections, I know how to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, if that makes sense. Another thing I would say is join campus organizations. And the reason why I say join campus organizations is because you also build like friendship on top of like learning skills that you may use in like real life world scenarios. So for example, organizations have general members and e-board members. If you happen to apply to be e-board member, they have like social media, they have president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, they have all those positions, and you may possibly be doing these same things in a role for your career. It may not be the exact same thing, but it's to an extent. Like, yeah, you're not going to be the president of whatever you're going into or nothing like that. So that's a little different, but it's teaching you how to balance, how to maintain stress, how to like just be a leader on top of that, because you never know, once you get in your career, they might ask you to be a supervisor and things like that. They're going to ask you, do you know how to lead people? Do you know how to give constructive criticism? Do you know how to do this? Do you know how to do that? Do you have any experience in conflict resolutions, things and such like that? So make sure you join these organizations. Also join, I would say, like, for friendship. I said that already, but like, yeah, college is hard, especially if you move like far away. Like, you're gonna feel alone. Like, build those friends, but heavy on the but, when you build those friends, like, just be cautious, because everybody don't have good intentions for you. So you might think somebody's your friend and they're not. Just because you're roommates don't mean that you're friends. Like, people have to learn how to differentiate friends, colleagues, classmates, professors, roommates, a lot of things. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, because we roommates, we friends. No, that doesn't mean anything, if that makes sense. So just be aware of like who you around as well. Like, you gotta have like certain judgment, is what discernment, that's the word. Like, some people just don't have it out for you, or like some people just envy you. Like, so just make sure you're very cautious when it comes down to being friends. Another thing I would say is don't go to college like looking for love, because you're probably not gonna find it. Now I'm not saying you're probably not gonna find it, but it's a slim chance. Like, that's very rare that people go to college and be college sweethearts, fall in love and stuff like that. I had a mentee when I was, I think, 2 years ago or 2 semesters ago, one of them. But she came to college and she met this boy. They were freshmen. he ended up like telling her he liked her, hanging out with her, really, like, I would say manipulating her, and then they end up having sex. After they had sex like 2-3 times, he didn't even want to deal with her anymore. Like, those are things that, like, you need to watch out for. Yeah, you're going to college to have fun, maybe you want to keep doing all that, but that's really not really good. I'm telling you, people will talk about you, people are looking, people know. Like, college is small. It may seem big, but it's really small, especially if y'all staying in the same dorms, y'all doing the same group activities, you going to the same games and stuff like that. Like, you'll find out. Another thing I would say is be active on campus, not just for like organizations, but when campus have certain events, go to them. You never know what opportunity you might take or what you might grasp or learn from whatever the event is, or how much fun you may have. Like, just get out your comfort zone. Like, go to basketball games, go to football games. I know at my school at Clark Atlanta, we have, I want to say Market Thursday, because Morehouse is we AUC, it's like Spelman, Morehouse, and Clark all together. Morehouse has Hump Wednesday, and then Clark Atlanta has Market Thursday. So basically on our promenade, it's a lot of like just small brands that'll come down our promenade and just post up and sell whatever they might have. They be having like carpets, they have like clothes, they have like Greek stuff, they have like fragrances, like the little roll-ons, they have like food. We have food trucks on our campus as well, but we have food trucks like every day on campus, but like there's different kind of food trucks that come around. Go to homecoming, go to spring fest. If you go to HBCU, that's what we have at HBCU. Now if you go to a PWI, you can still go to the same things. I don't think they have like what is it, like Hump Wednesday and stuff like that, but do find out like what your school does. Like, sometimes you may have like organizations that might do like something for Valentine's Day. You might have your student activity board, your campus orgs on campus do like events. Don't be afraid to go out to these events. Like, you have to understand, you're finna be doing this for 4 years, 2 years, 3 years, however long you want to do college. If you want to get an associate's or bachelor's, whatever the case may be, you have to make the best out of it. I can't say I did not make the best out of mine, because I like that bread. Like, I do school and work, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you actually want to have those memories and party and stuff like that, like, go out, have fun, meet new people. Don't drink and drive. Don't put your cup down. Don't smoke everybody's stuff, whatever the case may be. No, that's a no. Like, just be very cautious, but have fun. Like, share your location with somebody, family, friends. Get closer, like a few people on campus, and y'all share locations. Make sure y'all have each other. Go to the cab. Don't be afraid to get that dang on dining plan. You may not feel like you're gonna eat it, but eat that food. Just go ahead and eat it. You already paid for it, especially your freshman year. You have to get a dining plan. Just might wait the food. Learn how to eat healthy in the cab. Yeah, you may feel like, oh, I'm gonna get fat, because it is this thing called freshman 15. You get on camp, you just eat. But for me, when I first went to Georgia Southern, when I got on camp, they breakfast, oh my goodness, that junk is so good. But I didn't gain no weight. But then again, I did have a problem with like gaining weight. Like, for the longest when I was in high school, like, I was balancing between 104 and 107, back and forth. It took me to go to the army to gain some weight. Another thing I would say is start looking at internships. Like, once you get in your sophomore year, apply. So when that summertime after your sophomore year is over, you can start working. So you have an intern the end of your sophomore year, the end of your junior year, and possibly end of your senior year, and then you may have a full-time role. Also, on top of applying for internships, apply for scholarships. Yeah, you get financial aid, or yeah, you might get a scholarship from somewhere, but you have to understand, just imagine you have like 12 scholarships, your tuition 10,000, your scholarship total out of 20,000. You got 10,000 in your pocket. On top of your financial aid, all that, you're getting all that money back. You want them refunds? They come in handy. I'm telling you, like, my last refund was like $8K. Would not bullshit you. $8K. Came in handy. Helped me get my Camaro and everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a Camaro anymore, but yeah. So apply for scholarships, apply for interns. Some internships offer scholarships. If you do have a job, look into your job to see like if they offer any type of like schooling, or tuition fees or like whatever the case may be, like any benefits that will help you with school. And if they pay for the whole thing, do all that. Like there's a lot of ways to get around college and enjoy it where you don't have to stress about like taking out loans. One thing I can say, like I took out loan my first semester at Georgia Southern and my first semester at Clark. Other than that, I've been on a scholarship for Army and just like my regular Pell Grant, Hope Grant, Georgia. I got a lot of grants and tuition, other Georgia tuition stuff on mine. So that's another thing I can say. Just make sure you're applying for that. Like, and sometimes I can say when I came to Clark my first semester, they gave me a $5,000 scholarship for every semester. But I lost it the first semester. You know why I lost it? Because I was freaking struggling trying to learn that dang on computer science. I ended up getting 2 C's, an A, and a B. And in order to keep the $5,000 scholarship, you had to maintain a 3.25. My GPA went to like a 2.8 or some shit like that. 2.7, something like that. I didn't even know you had to maintain a certain GPA. So always look at your requirements when you accept a scholarship to a school and stuff like that. I ended up losing my hope as well my first semester at Georgia Southern because I did do dual enrollment, and one of my dual enrollment classes, the professor never told us about the final. Something happened with the final. I don't want to say he didn't tell us, but something happened with the final, and I ended up getting a 0 and failing the class. Like the final drug my grade down, so my GPA ended up going to like a 2.8 for college. But mind you, I'm still in high school. I didn't know that GPA carried even though it was dual enrollment. Like I really didn't understand the aspect because I told you I didn't even know if I was going to college, but I did know that I didn't want to graduate high school early, so I just did dual enrollment because I finished all my college classes early. So I ended up having like a 2.79 or something like that. I went to college, and then my first semester of college, I think I got like a A, 2 B's, and a C. Really wasn't a good GPA either, so I ended up losing my hope because in order to have hope, you have to have a 3.0 or higher. My GPA was like a 2.79, so I went from a 2.59 to a 2.79. They added them together and it balanced out to be like 2.8, 2.9. So I lost my hope, and I had to do like another 2 semesters before I got it back. It was just a whole lot. Don't be like me, please. I'm gonna just go ahead and say don't be like me. Another thing I would say is if you do join organizations, even if you don't join organizations, but you can still do this while you're in college, but do some community service. Sometimes some applications or scholarship might revolve around community service, or they might ask you about like your involvement around your community, especially if you're applying to organizations. They're gonna be like, what have you done for your community, especially if you're joining a community service based organization as well. So do community service. That's if you want to, like if you want to join organizations, or if you want to internship and stuff like that. Some people, I know for me, like I'm just joining college. I'm sorry y'all, but I went to college because I really didn't know what I wanted to do after high school. And on top of that, I wanted to be the statistic of black people don't go to college after high school. Like they do high school and it's over. And also like it's a statistic that black people drop out of college. So I have this thing where like I don't want to be a statistic, you know what I'm saying? I want to make my own life and go down my own pathway. I don't want to be labeled and centered under this. I'm already black, so I'm already centered under this category. On top of that, I'm a woman, so I'm already centered under being black and a woman in America, so that just makes it even harder for myself. But being a black educated woman is just mind-blowing. Like people, it's rare. Like you in a small percentage of the world, black, a woman, and you're graduated with a degree, whether it's a master's or bachelor's. Now going up in the degrees, that percentage gets smaller and smaller, but I'm done at my bachelor's. But I would say do take your time. Some things I would say when it comes down to like dorms and stuff, don't be getting all that stuff. Like I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little extra. I did. When I tell you, I had a mini fridge, I had like these little wall decorations, I got a new little bed set, I had a mattress topper, I had bought like candles, I had bought like LED lights. I had the time I wasn't even in my room, I was in somebody else's room. My room was just cute. I had bought like laundry baskets, but I can't say like I use it for like at home. When I came back, I used that stuff. So I wouldn't say like it's a loss. But you got to think about when it's time to move. Every semester, not every semester, but every year, sometimes they might tell you to like take some of your stuff home, like when you go on break. So you start in the fall, you go on break for like a month. You either can pay to stay, or you just take your stuff and go home. But they'll keep your room and stuff. Like you can keep like your clothes that you don't wear, your TV and stuff, but like things that you're going to use, and especially if you live like far away, you're going to take that with you. So you got to think about like travel expenses, especially if you're like flying back home, you don't have no car and stuff like that. Yeah, don't be taking all that stuff, because I had to take 2 trips when I moved out of Georgia Southern to come back home. I took either 2 to 3 trips. I ended up taking a U-Haul up there, and I didn't notice that I didn't have that much stuff. So, well, I didn't notice I had that much stuff. So when I came back, yeah, it took me a little while. I had bought a TV. I had a game system. I just had so much stuff that I was like, damn, I gotta move. And then I had to move it all by myself. I had like 4 extension cords. Had to get all my bathroom stuff. It was a lot. Like it was a lot. So I wouldn't say don't get all that. I would recommend like an air fryer, especially if you don't want to eat in the cab and you like cooking. But especially if you don't have a car, I wouldn't recommend like trying to avoid the dining plan, because you don't have no car. How you gonna get around? Like, you know what I'm saying? So you might as well just eat at the cab. It's walking distance, you know, versus trying to Uber, DoorDash, and all that stuff like that. Especially if you go to a HBCU, we got like fried chicken Wednesdays. We have food trucks on our campuses, so you have different varieties of food. And some of those food trucks take like, if you have like, for me, I have the commuter plan, so it's like I get 30 swipes and like $150 or something like that. Is it $150 or like $300, something like that? So I can just use those at the food carts or food truck, food cart, whatever you want to call it. I would say like make sure that you're very organized. For me, I'm a paper person. I'm not a digital person, or like I'm more a physical person. I need a calendar, or I need to write my schedule down, my to-do list and stuff like that. I can't put it in no planner on my phone. I have an actual physical planner. I have 2 planners actually. I have a content planner and I have a regular schedule planner for like my appointments, classes, things and such like that, meetings, e-boards, all that, things like that, applications, interviews. I have that on paper. Be very organized. Don't miss no deadlines, because some professors in college might give you a little extension, then others might not. I do have one professor, like I understand like she's helping prepare us for the real world, but like sometimes she can be like a a-hole, and I just be like, oh my gosh. Like, and I know for my school, like you have to go through a process to get excused absences, but at Georgia Southern you could just email the teacher like, hey, I had this going on, and it's at their discretion if they want to accept it or not. If they don't, then you can take it up higher to like the dean or something like that. But 9 times out of 10 at Georgia Southern, they're going to accept it. Another thing I would say is use college resources. So for Clark, it's really like a small school. It's literally like probably a street, versus Georgia Southern is a big old campus. Well, Clark is a campus too, but if we're talking about size, it's not that big comparing them to each other. But use them resources, because some of them you pay for anyways, like lab fees, library, computer labs, other things like that. Like if you're paying for it, you might as well use it. Like sometimes you might just want a little alone time. You can go to a computer lab in there, swipe your little card, just go in there and study, or just sit in there and chill. I know for me at Clark, they have like a little game room in there, and I never knew it was in there until like one day I'm just like waiting for my next class to start. I'm just walking around, and I ended up finding it. It got like a little game chair. It got like different little stations for games. I'm like, okay. And I bet a lot of people did not know that was in there. And that's in our library. On top of that, we have like different like little stores. Like we have a wing place outside of our cap called Wicked Wings. Then if you go in like our math building, it's called CMMA, Carl and Merriwear. That's where mostly like all the math classes be, math and like philosophy, those little classes like that. But it's a little cab. It's called Jasmine. It's almost like, I would say like a Starbucks, but it's nowhere near on Starbucks level. I don't fuck with Starbucks anyway, so it don't matter. I'd rather go there than fucking Starbucks. But use those benefits. I know at Georgia Southern we had a Chick-fil-A. We had like a little store. It was called Gus Mart. What else we had in there? We had a lot of other stuff on campus as well. So use those benefits. You already like paying for it, so you might as well go out there and have fun. Use it. bring peace, listen to music, have your little study sessions in there, meet with somebody, you know, just use it. Another thing I would say is don't buy them books. Do not buy them books because you're going to be wasting your money. Because half of the books that you're going to be paying for, you can find them online for free. Or either you're not going to use them. Like my freshman year of school, when I started Georgia Southern, no, really my dual enrollment, I got all the books right there. Never opened them, never touched them. Most of all the stuff was online, or like a lot of professors are lazy. Most of their work is online. You can copy it. Now you do have some professors where you got to put that work in, and it also does depend on your major. But I wouldn't recommend cheating like in person. But if your class online, go haywire. I ain't gonna lie, like go haywire. Nobody's gonna know, like, you know what I'm saying, unless it looks like completely like cheated, or like your teacher know like she didn't teach this and you just got 100, like, you know what I'm saying, make it look reasonable, you know. But yeah, don't get that. Don't get no book bundle. Don't buy no books. These are a list of websites that offer free books. That's how I got through my college after my first semester, because I was just like, I'm not going to keep paying for all these books. There's no point. And that put more money back to money that I was getting. Even at not Georgia Southern, but even at Clark, our book bundle is like $400. That's an extra $400 I'm getting towards my refund check, you know. Y'all, I'm sorry that I keep saying like I'm trying to like think. I had a list, but I think I deleted it by accident, so I don't know where it is, so I can't really remember it. I did have a group chat where we was asking like what are some things that you would give like freshmen, so let's see if I can find that. Give me a second. I found the messages, and I'm just going to go through like some advice that we collectively as a group had said. Some of these things I have said in the beginning, but this is going to be me wrapping up like the advice to see if I like covered everything that I wanted to cover. So the question was, hey guys, can you give me one piece of advice you would give a freshman? Someone said, don't be a party promoter. That does follow you. Don't, like, you know, and then sometimes being a party promoter, they want you to wear certain things. Like, make sure you're very cautious of what you wear on campus. Don't be wearing no booty shorts, especially if you want to be in campus organizations. If you want to be a leader, you have to set the tone and look like a leader, act like a leader, think like a leader, speak like a leader. Like, you know, you just can't be on campus with a halter top and some booty shorts. Dress well. That's why I go to school in like hoodies and sweatpants. Yeah, it's not like best dressed, but like I'm not half naked either, if that makes sense. Get involved as much as on campus in activity as you can. So I said that. Even if you want to walk on a sports, track, basketball, anything, try it. Like, you never know. I know my school at Clark, they have like quiz bowl, they have a chess club. You can do those things as well. You just have to find out and get in contact with the right people. Be very cautious about what you do at school and what you post, because if you go to a small school, people are watching even when you think they aren't. I mentioned that. Don't withdraw from a class unless it's absolutely necessary. When you do enroll in college, they do have like a drop ad period where like it won't be counted against you. But if you drop a class after that period, it'll put a W on your transcript, and basically your credits will say attempted and completed. So if you took 9 classes or 9 credit hours and you dropped one after the drop ad, it'll say 9 attempted, 6 completed. And sometimes that does mess with your GPA. They tell you that it don't, but it does, because it's attempted and not completed, if that makes sense. If your professor is taking too long to send an email out or get back to you with something, go to the dean or whoever like the dean assistant is or whatever, because maybe they'll get to them a little bit faster. Establish relationships with your teachers and advisors, because it can lead to internships, jobs, offers, and you never know who they could put you in contact with. And that's very true, because I have a professor, she be in contact with a lot of like artists, and half the time I don't even know who they are, but like they be some big artists. Also it be people who have gone to the school and they have their own business, their own all type of own stuff, or they in connections with this person. They've been on Disney shows, they've been in this show, they've been in that show, they just been doing a lot of things. So that's another reason why I did mention like make that connection, but don't make it like just because you want something. Make it genuine. Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people can tell when you just want something because you're trying to get something out of it, if that makes sense. Like, okay, if you want to join a Greek organization, don't just be joining orgs on campus because you're trying to make yourself look good when you apply. Like, I'm telling you, people will talk. You never know who knows who either. So if you're doing a bad job at your e-board role, I'm pretty sure they're going to tell whatever org you is, like, that's not a good fit. Like, she don't even be on time. She don't do this. She don't do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? People will talk when you don't think it is. I don't really know much about Greek life. I'm not Greek, but that's one thing I can say. I do have a lot of friends who are Greek, and that's it. That's a lot of advice that some advice that they give people. Just be like, don't be telling everybody you want to be in a Greek organization, and be active on campus. Like, what can you do for the organization? I guess, like, do you have, like, not just join organizations, like be a general member, but those executive board roles, because I'm assuming like they have like roles in their organization as well. So I guess like showing that you can be a leader, if that makes sense. If someone tells you no, don't like be sad, because a no today can turn into a yes tomorrow. So apply to anything you want: jobs, internships, scholarships. Just because you get denied from one thing don't mean you'll be denied forever or denied from another thing. Back to like the partying stuff, it says don't get too involved in the party scenes. Go and study, try to balance school and the social life, because if you do too much partying, it will catch up to you. And I can't say my first semester I didn't party a lot. I was just in my room, but I was like with somebody, if that makes sense. Like, yeah. I mentioned like be careful who you hang around, because again, like, not everybody is like the best for you, or not everybody has good intentions for you. So just watch who you around. Me, I'm a very like standoffish person, so like I'm very cautious of like my surroundings, only because like where I'm from, a lot of people will do you bad, or like you might think you friends with somebody, y'all fall out, they telling your business, it's just embarrassing you. So just be careful like who you try to call your friend, or who you just around, because you know that saying like birds of a feather fall together. Granted, I don't believe in that, because I'm not a judgmental person. So if you out there doing that, that don't got nothing to do with me. I just mess with you as a person. But if somebody else out there doing that, like looking on the outside in, you probably out there doing the same thing. You just don't want people. Granted, I don't care what people think about me, but sometimes you have to care what people think about you, because that thought could mess up your opportunity, because you never know who they running their mouth to about that thought or what they seen. Because people will see something, assume, and then just take off and run. They went all the way to Texas with it. Keep your grades up, or you'll spend the rest of college trying to bring up your GPA and bounce back from those freshman grades. I would say yes, your freshman year is the most important year, like the strongest, where you build your foundation. So that's why I said when I failed my classes, it took a lot for me to get back up. I'm a senior now, and I have a 3.51 GPA. But you see what I went through, like in semester. Like, you can get all A's a semester, but your GPA might go up like 0.5. That's nothing. Like, it took me 2 semesters to get my hope back, and that was with summer classes in the middle. So I would say like 2.5, if that makes sense, just to get a 3.0. Why? You feel me? So, but if you're doing all that partying, you're gonna miss out on the opportunity to like actually secure your grades. If you start off strong, it's no problem. You don't have to struggle trying to make sure you get all A's. You can settle for a B or a C. C's still get degrees, but you know what I'm saying? But depending on where you're trying to go, get them A's and B's. I prefer all A's. One person said freshman year is very important. You can fix your grades later on, but it can be a year that it will take to actually fix those grades and set the tones for the rest of your undergrad. So have fun, but you got to remember what you ultimately came to school for. And once the GPA dropped, it can be hard to pick it back up. So yeah, I already had touched on that topic about like remembering what you came to school for and stuff like that. Don't be arguing and fighting, because it's not high school and they will kick you out. Some people will suspend you, ban you, and if your GPA falls below a certain GPA, they will put you on like a suspension or kick you out of school, because you do have to maintain a certain GPA in order to be in college. I think it's like 2.75 or like 2.5 or something like that. I'm not really sure. I've never gotten that low. I think so. I'm not sure. Make sure you don't limit yourself to school. Try new spots in the area around you. Join like other things in the community, like a run club or something. Just branch out, just especially if you're in a new city. Just do things you've never done. Like, it's a new experience for you. It's kind of like a fresh start for you, so don't forget that. And that was the last one. So I do hope that you all got like an insightful thought of like what to do your freshman year. If any of you all have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out or leave a comment below. All my socials are in the description, or you can leave a comment like I just said, or you can message me. It does not really matter. You can email me, whatever. I am more than welcome to talk to you all, give you all a little bit more advice. I was trying not to just yap and give y'all a lot, because some people get freshman advice and just give like 3-4 things, little small things and stuff like that. But I wanted to be as detailed as possible to give you your best results in college. Again, I didn't know if I was going to go to college. I went to college and now I'm finna graduate. So yeah, I hope I gave y'all enough information to compile. If you feel like I missed something, or if you have any recommendations, I might do this video again. I'm most definitely willing to give the advice, make another version of this or alteration, add on to it. So yeah, thanks for watching this video and I hope you enjoyed. Bye, see y'all later.